Hello, people of Mizahar. This is Kreig Messer. Uh, it's been quite some time since I made any new vlog, and after seeing a few people in chat do it, I decided, hey, why not do this again? So I've gathered a few questions. I'm only going to answer probably a couple of them, uh, probably because currently I'm only testing really. Uh, been having a bit trouble with YouTube, but and whatnot. And so I'm using my own computer's webcam to record it on the laptop, and then I shall upload it to YouTube rather than my usual method of just uh, using YouTube directly. So without further ado, here are some questions for me to answer. Okay, Vanessa Lawson asks, "Why are you a brawler?" I don't know if she asks this uh, or if she's asking me as the writer, or she's asking me from the character's point of view. But so I shall take the liberty and talk from both aspects. As a writer, I suppose it appealed to my personal taste, really. Brawling is just one of those rough and tumble skills that I love to see in fiction. It pretty much reminds me of badasses, really. Those guys you see in all the action flicks or whatnot that, okay, well, not refined in their style, don't need to be. They could just throw a punch and just take one as good as the rest, basically. And wherever they go, most things are left untouched, like a beer bottle, a chair, and whatnot. That's basically what brawling is. Like an undisciplined form of fighting, and it uses a lot of improvisation. It uses a lot of dirty tactics uh, to get the job done. And as a writer, I suppose it actually fit Krieg because Krieg is from Sunbirth, and Sunbirth being a rough and tumble city as it is, most people, most mercenaries, most fighters in general would be probably self-taught in their form of unarmed combat, especially from a young age. And Krieg got into a lot of fights. Now, if I were to talk from the character's perspective, uh, yeah, I suppose because of Krieg's own latent, or not so latent. I mean, it's more blatant actually. Bloodlust. He's had this sort of bloodlust ever since he was a child. He always thought fighting was fun, and he used to get in a lot of fight with a lot of children. And yeah, most children don't know how to fight. I mean, and he was one of them, and so his brawling days began from there. The reason he's so good at it is because he just loved fighting so much uh, that his skill with it just evolved, as it were. And in a city like Sunburst, that's definitely a good thing because it's his own undeniable form of self-defense. I mean, you wouldn't want to mess with a brawler, especially like Craig, who, especially during his days in Sunbirth, where danger was pretty much everywhere, didn't really care for the damage he got. Uh, uh, I mean, what damage he got, he would return 10 times full, basically. And yeah, I hope that answers your question. Uh, this next question comes from Iriari. I really do hope I'm pronouncing your name right. As you guys know, misnames tend to be complicated to pronounce. You really can't tell most of the time. So this is my own guess or stab at her name. So I do apologize if I mispronounced it wrong. Uh, Her question was in general to all vloggers on Mizahar, and she asks, "What types of threads do you hate to write, and or have the most difficult time writing, and why?" Hmm. If I were to be honest, I would say the most difficult threads with me is any thread that has more than three people. Like I just like it's for two reasons really. Or at the very least, I mean, I could probably go on all day, but I'd most likely be exaggerating. And yeah, I do that sometimes. The first reason is okay. One of the very first. It has to do with one of the very first threads I've ever joined in Mizahar, and it was an open group thread. And yeah, that attracted a lot of members, particularly because the author of the thread, he pretty much invited as much as he can. And yeah, that quickly grew out of control because there was just so many people. I mean, it wasn't like that you had to wait ages to post, but it was just so disorganized, basically. It wasn't really that well thought out, and for me, that just left a bad taste for threads, for group threads for me. Uh, the second reason, well, I'm an impatient guy, really. I'm an impatient guy. For m- for me, most threads with other people should just be with two people, and even then, I'm kind of impatient, particularly because I have easy access to internet, whether I'm here or at the training center where basically I work or I'm training for a job. So, and the material we get is not uh, what's the word? It's not really time consuming, really. Uh, I could probably give it to to my nephew, and he's like just a little he's like a little chicken nugget. uh, and he'd do just fine. I'm probably exaggerating that, but yeah, most of the subject materials do not take time to do. Probably only like submissions and sometimes tests, uh, depending on the level. But yeah, but I'm babbling, so back to the point. Yeah, but because of this free time, uh, it's actually counterproductive for me because I will look on a thread and go, when will people post? And even though it's probably have only been a few hours, and the other person has their own things to do, school, work, whatnot, and and basically just ends up me being a prick, as it were, waiting for these people to post. So so yeah, in the end, it left me being that any more than three people, me and two people, basically, and I'll just be an impatient git, as it were. Yeah, I've been babbling for practically 10 minutes now, I suppose. Uh, this would be a good place to stop here. I'll try to make another video for the remainder questions, and I do hope you enjoyed this one. This is Kreig Mister signing out.